Good morning, everyone. So, what's today about? Well, we, as a school, are what we call a Vision Scotland school. That means that we have been recognised by the Holocaust Memorial Trust as a school that keeps alive the memories of the Holocaust for the young people within the school. And that is critically important. Some people in our society and wider societies don't believe the Holocaust existed. They think it's fake news. It isn't. They are so wrong. And you'll hear momentarily why they're wrong. The Holocaust Memorial Trust exists to keep alive the memories of the heinous acts that took place towards the end of the Second World War, when the Nazi regime tried to exterminate an entire race of people, the Jewish race, and over 6 million lost their lives. If you don't want to repeat the issues in past history, it's important that you keep them alive so that you don't repeat the mistakes of the past. But we cannot be complacent. We have to be ever vigilant. Now, the examples I'm going to give you just didn't happen in your lifetime, but they happened in mine. So, the Holocaust, mid-1940s, 1944, 1945, 30 years later, in a country called Cambodia, a deranged leader called Pol Pot, with his political acolytes, the Khmer Rouge, tried to exterminate history and go back to year zero. It meant lots and lots of children were encouraged to tell on their parents and in fact facilitate the murder of their parents. And over 1 million people lost their lives. Over 1 million lost their lives. It was captured in a film called The Killing Fields, based on a book called The Death of Life by Dith Pran, who's actually in the film. So if you do get a chance to ever see that film, I would urge you to watch it because it's hugely provocative, very emotive, very, very powerful. Then we go to the 1990s. In 1994, in Rwanda, there was another attempted genocide. You will know Rwanda from the news at the moment, whereby the current government are trying to deport illegal migrants to Rwanda. But 30 years ago, there was a civil war in Rwanda, and there were two main ethnic groupings, the Hutus and the Tutsis. The Hutus were the majority, and the leader of the Hutus decided that the Hutus wanted all the power, and so they encouraged Hutus to murder Tutsis, and that meant neighbours committing heinous crimes against their fellow neighbours. Having lived together happily for many, many years, suddenly this ethnic strife, this belief that one race or one group is better than another, took hold, and many, many were killed. Estimates vary, but 850,000 is probably an accurate number. And you might think, but these are in faraway countries in different continents, it won't affect us in Europe. Alas, that's not true. In 1995, we had a civil war between the different constituent parts of a country that used to be called Yugoslavia. When that broke up into Serbia, Croatia, Slovenia, Bosnia, Kosovo, there was wars between them. And I'll just give you one example. A political leader of the Bosnian Serbs, a man called Radovan Karadzic, and his military leader, Ratko Mladic, they decided that they would ethnically cleanse Bosnia. Ethnic cleansing is just another name for genocide. And in one example, which they found after the war, they found a mass grave with 8,000 bodies, where young men and boys, people your age, had been lined up and killed for no other reason than the fact that they were Muslim. And these have all happened in my lifetime. So it's important that we keep alive the horrors of the Holocaust so that we don't repeat it. So hopefully today's message will be clear to you, and I'm now going to ask our ethics ambassadors to come up and speak.
My name is Ines, and myself, Alice, Hannah, Linda, Jason and Olivia, who you will hear from later, are Lindsay Academy's ethics ambassadors. The term ethics means the moral principles in which you conduct your own behaviour and how you treat others. Our aim is to represent Lindsay Academy's school values that fall under inclusion, tolerance, respect and compassion, which we believe are important values for everyone to possess, particularly when we look at historical crimes such as the Holocaust.
We are looking to enhance Lindsay Academy's approach to Holocaust education and work towards gaining vision skills level to the world. We have successfully managed to renew our Level 1 status in November 2023. Jason and Olivia will now share their experience from their October visit to Auschwitz as part of the Lessons from Auschwitz project.
Freedom is a key part of our democracy. The ability to live our lives not determined by someone else, but only ourselves. Freedom is a fragile thing, and time again, for millions of people throughout the world in the past and today, freedom is not guaranteed. For Jewish people in Nazi Germany, that precious freedom was stripped away and turned into only hopes and dreams for millions of Jewish citizens of Europe. Olivia and I had the opportunity through the Lessons from Auschwitz project to visit Poland and be given a guided tour around both Auschwitz I and Auschwitz-Birkenau. These sites were the grounds where more than 1 million of the 6 million Jewish lives were lost during the Holocaust. The people here that died were not only Jewish, but people from other faiths, political beliefs and sexualities were also brutally slaughtered here by the Nazi regime.
We first visited Auschwitz I, an area resembling a normal town and surrounding area that is nothing but that. Walking into the camp, we walk under a sign marked Arbeit macht frei, work sets you free. This promised freedom that for most would never come. The museum in Auschwitz I serves as a reminder that the lives lost here were not just statistics, but people. People who brought their lives with them, pots, pans, luggage and their families. This was as well as the human cost, clearly visible, the hair, the shoes and the prosthetic limbs. These items are piled on top of each other on what seems like an endless pit, representing everyday people like you and me. Auschwitz-Birkenau was a vast space compared to the tight quarters of Auschwitz I. Here we had the chance to see how millions of people lived, a type of life that could not be imagined. People stacked in bumps as if they weren't human, the train tracks that run through the camp, transporting people in like animals and not living humans. This all sounds like a thing of the past. However, since the end of the Second World War, concentration camps and attempted genocides have not disappeared. The camps of 1990s Bosnia and the Lager camps in China are examples of how inhumane treatment of people based on their characteristics still exists today.
In today's world where conflict remains around the world, we need to work together to gain a greater understanding and tolerance of our differences, to stop fighting and create a world of peace where the atrocities of the Holocaust cannot be repeated. We'll now hear from some of our S2 House representatives. Thank you very much.
Stanislav Aronson was born in 1925 into a Polish Jewish family. He survived the Warsaw Ghetto and was involved in the Polish resistance. Here he recalls how the creation of the ghetto impacted his life and shattered freedoms he once took for granted. Do not ever imagine that your world cannot collapse as ours did. This may seem the most obvious lesson to be passed down, but only because it's the most important. One moment I was enjoying an idyllic adolescence in my home city of Łódź, and the next we were on the run.
Perhaps it was because I was only a child that I did not notice the storm clouds that were gathering. If disaster comes, you will find that all the myths you once cherished are of no use to you. You will see what it is like to live in a society where morality has collapsed, causing all your assumptions and prejudices to crumble before your eyes. And after it's all over, you will watch as slowly but surely these harshest of lessons are forgotten as the witnesses pass on and new myths take their place.
Thank you very much to our ethics ambassadors at the front, and thank you to Jason and Olivia. Thank you also to Aaron, our school captain, and Rachel, your house captain, and to our musicians as well. They will now start playing, and then I will dismiss you orderly after they have played for us a little bit. Okay, so if you sit back, think and reflect on what you've just heard whilst they play. Thank you.